stream to start. Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start?
Now. Can you hear me now? Let me have a look myself. So I'm just gonna pop in the chat. I'm gonna write something in the chat. Yo, what's up? I'm gonna put a question mark because punctuation is important. Okay. So I think I'm working now. I think it works. Hang on, I'm just going to put some emojis in because I like that. See if that works. Let's have a look a second. I'm going to close that window. And they fly around the thing. Excellent. Okay, here we are. It seems that I'm working. It's been ages. So it's been ages since I streamed. The last time I streamed was when I was in the States, I think. And lots of reasons for that. Lots of reasons. I've been tired. I've been sick. And I was going to stream at BerlinCon and then internet was an issue, so I didn't. If I click on this, does that do something? Yes, it does. Lovely. Matt Green, thank you very much. And yeah, welcome to the 5G4D stream. This is very exciting. I used to be able to see how many people were watching. I don't think I can do that anymore. But let's have a look. Sorry, I'm currently a bit discombobulated. Anyway, yes. So here we are, 5G4D stream. So it's going to be very simple. I am going to answer some questions, and it's going to be controversial because it's going to be on a controversial topic because that's all the board gaming world has been talking about recently. Oh, hang on a minute. Put on my Mario Cube. I'm going to play some songs. I'm going to play a song in a minute. One of them's going to be an original from me. That's exciting, isn't it? I've started writing songs. I'm writing an album with a friend of mine, and I've started writing songs. So, yeah, I'm going to play some songs, and then I'm going to rank my shelf, which I don't know how many people are watching, but it has a Tony Boydell game on it, which is exciting, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to hit the settings thing. What does that do? Stream. Okay, yeah. Output. Yeah, okay. I'm going to close that because I'm live and I shouldn't be looking at the settings. Anyway, so, alright. I'm going to open with a song that gets this video demonetized, but I don't make a lot of money on it anyway. And, yeah. But it's a good tune. I think I might have played it on the last stream, in fact. But I just felt like playing it again tonight. And I haven't really been playing the... haven't been singing recently. I've been playing the guitar quite a bit because I decided. Ooh. Oh, I got my chorus on. So I decided. So I'm getting an electric guitar soon. So I thought I'd buy some guitar pedals, and I've plugged them in, and you're going to hear my guitar pedals tonight. I've got a JHS cheese ball, which is a heavy fuzz, which sounds like this. That, and then I have a very cheap pedal, but it does like 20 different effects, but then I can have chorus like this. Doesn't sound like it's brilliantly in tune. Hang on, I'm just going to tune the guitar. B string. They always say the G string goes out of tune, but on my guitar it's always the B string. Okay. I love the sound of the chorus. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to open with a song, which is a classic 90s tune, because I'm nothing if not someone who's obsessed with the 90s. And you'll definitely recognise this, because it's quite famous. Give me a second. I definitely think I played this on the last one, but it doesn't matter. It's a good tune.
Some you with a smile, cut you like you want me to, cut that little child. Side of me is such a part of you. Oh, yes, bird. Oh, yes, bird. I used to be a little boy
Oh, the guitar gets out of tune, doesn't it? Quite quickly. It's probably the heat or something. It's really hot. And I've got studio lights in here, so it's very hot. Alright, lovely. So that's Disarm with the Smashing Pumpkins. It's a bit of an old classic from the Neunzigers. That's Neunziger is German for the 90s, you see. Excellent. Neighbours Must Be Gone, one of my favourite. Now, this is an interesting thing because I live in Germany, and the rules in Germany are you can't be making noise. Oh, sorry. If there's a weird hum, by the way, it's because I have a fan on because it's so hot in this room. It's an interesting thing. I live in Germany, you see, and the beautiful thing about Germany is Germans really follow the rules. They are really cool at following rules, and the rule is if you make noise past 10 o'clock, they can call the police. But before, they're fairly tolerant. Also, I live in Berlin, fairly liberal city. So I don't get complaints. And, well, fingers crossed, eh? So, yes. So before we start, I have to start with the obvious thing, which is my channel is monetized. And so if you wish, you can drop super chats and things like that in. If you want to ask me questions during the Q&A session, which is going to happen now until about 9:30-ish, maybe a bit longer. If you... Oh, that lamp. I'm going to turn it off. The fan is very loud. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I love to answer your questions. And you can ask them on anything. You can ask them about games. You can ask them about music. You can ask them about the arts. You can ask them about sport. Whatever you want, just pop them in the chat. I'd like to draw your attention to a couple of really cool episodes I've had up on the podcast recently on the feed. My yearly live from the Spiel des Jahres Awards ceremony. I addressed the controversy, and there's a question here that that's going to address it. I addressed the controversy at the beginning of the show. Some people have commended me for it. Some people have said, someone said that I was dangerously wrong. I don't agree with that assessment of it, but everyone's entitled. If you want to get into this and you want to talk about this in a very respectful atmosphere, though an atmosphere that will be very pedantic and go on a while, you can go to the 5G4D Discord. That's 5gamesfordoomsday.com. Although I was told the link may have expired at this point. Give me a second. Although people are still joining, so join the Discord server. Nope, it hasn't expired. Someone was lying to me. So you can go to 5g4d.com. You can join the Discord, and we've been having a lot of discussion on what happened at the Spiel des Jahres. Well, I had a little bit of a discussion, but mostly it's everyone else. I said what I wanted to say, I think, at the beginning of that Spiel des Jahres podcast, although there's a question addressing it. I will sort of address it a bit here. Also, it was BerlinCon at the same weekend, which is really developed into a wonderful convention in Berlin. If anyone feels like a trip to Berlin, I would highly recommend coming during the BerlinCon weekend, because it's so. Why would you come to Berlin? Berlin is a city absolutely replete with history. Incredible music scene. Incredible, during the communist times, the split city. So there are 2 planetariums, there are 2 zoos, because each side there was a sort of competitive thing going on. It's a wonderful city, a very walkable city, a very green city. And you get to go to BerlinCon, which is, if you listen to that episode, I was told it's the biggest convention in Germany. Because they don't judge Essen as a convention, but as a fair. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I was in a room with Germans, and they're very strict on their definitions. And so I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about coming to Germany, link it up with BerlinCon. BerlinCon is fantastic. Everyone's nice. Michael Newsom asked me a question and then deleted it. Message retracted, it said. I don't know why, but it's over here, and I will answer it. On this one, it hasn't disappeared. Michael, why did you retract your message? The waiting world wishes to know. What else? Yes, you can join the 5G4D Patreon. Loads of bonus material on that. It's absolutely fantastic. Battle reports, where we play games live and talk about them. Sometimes they result in a lot of emotion. It's really great. The Patreon's great. Otherwise, listen to the podcast. The YouTube channel has slowed down over the last couple of weeks, just simply because I've been busy and then ill. But there'll be some reviews coming up soon. Give me a second. There will be a review of this coming up soon. I just need to play it a couple of more times. Steam Power by Martin Wallace. It's very good. It's fine, Michael. I can multitask. It's fine. Also, there will be a review of. Give me a second. There's just things everywhere. Give me a minute. This is chaotic. A review of this, Unmatched Sun's Origin. It is in the... Is it the Warring States period of Japanese history? But it's a super cool period of history with Nobunaga and that fighting over Japan. So there'll be a review of that coming up. I've also got Stonespire Architects. There'll be a review of that coming up for the next few... Until sort of the build-up to Essen, I think I'm just going to put reviews on the YouTube channel. And yeah, that's what's coming up. So, answer some questions. Is it? It's question time. You were saying, I should get bumpers. I should put them all here. Yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. Give me a second. I've got the questions here. Okay, so... 2 questions that are basically the same, so I'm going to put them up at the same time. So, Marcus the Dog Shepherd and Richard Norkel. Oh, my typing is brilliant. Can I edit that? No. They basically asked, Marcus the Dog Shepherd asks, SG Day ceremony... Impressions from the SG Day ceremony, please. And he also says, don't address the controversy, but there's a question coming up that addresses the controversy. Richard Norkel says, guess you are now a veteran of the ceremony. Was there anything that surprised you? So, to answer the latter question, nothing that surprised me, because I am a veteran, and the ceremony is very... The people who host it are very good, I think. I mean, they're not professional performers, so there's a little bit of awkwardness, but I think they're very good. And the overwhelming impression you always get from a Spiel des Jahres award ceremony is how bloody important they consider these things to be. You know, there are a few of us out there. Dan... God, my memory with names... Give me a second. This is terrible. It's terrible. I can't remember his bloody name. What's his name? Space Biff. Dan... I can't remember his last name. Dan Thoreau. Dan Thoreau, Matt Thrower, myself, I count in this. There are people within the English space who are not just saying, is this game good, is this game fun, but trying to entangle why games are works of art and why they're good. Yeah, Dan Thoreau. Thanks, Matt. And when you go to the Spiel des Jahres, you really get the impression that they care about games as works of art. They care about games. They care about games being cultural artifacts. So it's interesting in Germany. They just take it so much more seriously. Germany's version of Radio 6. So Radio 6 in Britain is like the indie music channel. They play all the cool indie music stuff. And in Germany, Radio 1, Radio 1, is the German version of that. And they had an interview with one of the hosts of the Spiel des Jahres on the radio station, National Radio. And they were talking about, how they consider games to be cultural artifacts, important works of art. And I totally agree with that. And you go to the Spiel des Jahres ceremony and you get that impression. So, for the first part of the question, impressions from the STJ ceremony. So, the hotel that they hold it in is called the Enhau Hotel. And it's one of those things, it's trying so hard to be bloody trendy, and it comes across being utterly cringe. But, they really take care of the nominees, I think. There is this sense that there are these people who've created these wonderful things and they deserve to be held in high honour. And they do that, and I think it's great. Although, because it's a game thing, it's informal. There's a picture on the Discord of me holding the Spiel des Jahres award, pretending that I won it. And I just went up to the award winner and said, can I have a picture with it, please? So, it's really nice. And this year was marred by a situation. And if you don't know, you can find it on the internet. It was marred by a situation. If you meet me in the pub, I'll tell you what I think about it. I've made a statement on the podcast, and it's just a bit too long and a bit too depressing to go into right now. But yeah, I have my views on it, but the ceremony was great, and I hope they'll continue to do good ceremonies, because it's a highlight of my year. Michael Newsom asks, have you got any theatre performances coming up? I don't have any theatre performances coming up at the moment, unfortunately. I did a show last summer. We were in the process of tearing each other to pieces around about this time. Or maybe, yeah, I think so. It was a very fraught rehearsal process. I'm a bloody nightmare, essentially. There's supposed to be a remounting of that, but that is yet to be confirmed. And at the moment, I'm in the process of doing a project which is incredibly cool. It is to do with board games. It is a really cool project, but I can't, and it's frustrating because I want to tell people, but I can't tell people because it is not sure yet that it's going to happen. It looks good. Hopefully it is, but it's not sure yet. But when I know it's confirmed and I'm able to speak to the people and tell you lot, I'm going to, because it's a super exciting project. It's super exciting for me personally. I think it's of value to anyone watching this stream. I think it's of value to the gaming public at large, and it's frustrating I can't tell anyone about it. But also, that's an announcement. In a couple of weeks, I'll be at Aircon Northwest in Manchesterford. So if anyone here is British and feels like going to Aircon Northwest, I'll be hosting the Hot Ones event with the Dice Tower lot, and just bumming around and playing games. So if anyone is going to Aircon Northwest, then please, Matt Green, come up to Aircon Northwest and we'll have a chat. Right, it's really hot in here. I'm going to go and get a glass of water. So I'll be back in just literally 2 minutes. And pop some questions in the chat. Anything. You can ask me questions on anything. Pop some questions in the chat. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream? start. Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start? Stream is about to start. Are you ready for the stream to start?
I'm back. Yes, Aircon Northwest, 16th to the 18th of August 2024. I'm going to be there doing a show. Come and see it. Isn't that a nice water bottle, hey? Anyway, so yeah, next question, which is a really interesting question and one. Give me a second. Come on. What is this doing? My computer's being a bell end. So Marcus the Dog Shepherd asks, today at 18:30, looking at the controversy of the Spiel des Jahres, which I'm not going to go into because the question doesn't address it directly. What are your thoughts between the separation of the author and the work? Now, I am an absolutist on very little stuff. It is clear to me that the world is a nuanced, difficult place where simple answers to difficult questions benefit nobody. I refer you to the Spiel des Jahres award ceremony. But on this, I'm an absolutist. I have many friends, and I have had many friends, who consistently have said that they cannot support the work of a person they disagree with politically, which is absolutely moronic, or a person they find monstrous. And there are many people there are many monsters in the world, and many of them have created wonderful work. Also, many people operated under different moral codes than we have today, and I think to cancel them based on that is moronic. I think Mark Twain is a great example. Huckleberry Finn uses a particular word that was in common usage at that time, especially in his part of the world, and the book has sought to have been censored because of this. And that's not a question on Mark Twain's moral character, that's a question of the content of the book, which is not the question, so I shouldn't be answering it. But anyway, don't edit Mark Twain. H.P. Lovecraft is a great example of this because he's often brought up, because even for his times, his ideas on race were pretty out there. And I can't imagine he would be a tremendous amount of lols. And I adore his work. I have adored him since I played Call of Cthulhu when I was 18, and I was entranced by his world. I did a video on the Arkham Horror LCG. It's on my YouTube channel, and I think it's in that one where I basically call him the malign J.R.R. Tolkien. So the whole idea with Tolkien is that the world Lord of the Rings is set in is actually our world, and we're like in the 8th age now or something, and that was the 3rd age, right? And Lovecraft posits this prehistory of Earth that has nothing to do with humanity. And I always find that hugely, hugely intriguing. There's my favourite Lovecraft story is called A Shadow Out of Time. And he goes forward in time. I'm not going to explain how because it's a big long thing. But he meets the beings that become the sort of dominant species on Earth after humanity. And I love that sort of idea that we are significant. It's some people might call it nihilist. I don't think it's nihilism necessarily. It's just an understanding. It's just an understanding that we are but a blip in the history of the universe. And because we're very humanocentric, we don't really. A lot of fiction doesn't deal with that because it's essentially depressing. You know? But the reason I have to separate the art from the artist in all cases, and I use H.P. Lovecraft as the example. He's long dead. And to not read his work is to harm no one but myself. It is to deny myself the pleasure of great art because I didn't think the guy was a nice guy, and it seems so short-sighted. I had friends who I think people are pretty sure that Morrissey's a bellend. And I think Morrissey probably is a bellend. And they were massive Smith fans and massive Morrissey fans. And since he took his rightward shift, and I think his rightward shift has been there for quite a while, since the 80s, in fact, they said, we're not going to listen to Morrissey anymore. And it's really interesting because they're vegan and very passionate about it. And Morrissey is vegetarian and very passionate about it. They both share that. But they disagree politically, and so they said, I'm going to eschew things that satisfy me and make me feel great just because we disagree on this one point. I think it's very important that we understand that as human beings we're pretty similar. And the marker of politics. Firstly, I don't think unless you work in politics, human beings are particularly political, capital P, political animals. They state political viewpoints on Twitter because social media points us in that direction, but most of us are just trying to get through the day, look after ourselves and the people we love. And we mostly have more in common than we don't have in common. And to judge someone, and it seems to be at the moment the big dividing line is political, and I think it's very short-sighted. And frankly, art is eternal, and art is vital to who we are as a species. And to deny yourself great art because the person who created it is a monster, well, it's very short-sighted, and you're hurting no one but yourself. That's my view. Is there booze? I don't drink booze. Not when I'm working. This is water. Isn't it a nice water bottle? So yes, there's no booze in this thing. It's a water. It's too hot to drink booze in this room. I'd suffocate like a prune. All right, where am I? Live stream questions. So, give me a second. Come on. There we go. So, this is from Matt Serrated Blade Coats, and he asks, my thoughts aren't fully formed on this yet, but here we go. Does a lack of player interaction in games actually increase randomness? If we're playing a multiplayer solo tape and I can't manipulate... Actually, I'll tell you what. Forget the last bit. Does a lack of player interaction in games actually increase randomness? So it's a really interesting question, right? I don't think it increases or decreases randomness. I think... So, I developed as a Eurogamer, right? And what's interesting as a Eurogamer, the randomness is often generated by the game. It's event cards, rolling dice, pulling cubes out of a tower or a bag, drawing hands of cards. And so the randomness is generated by the game. And this is what many people, I think of when they think of randomness in games. What's interesting is if you speak to wargamers, they don't think that at all. The randomness of the game is the thought process of the other player. The other player brings the randomness. Although, obviously in wargames there are other thoughts, other kinds of randomness. So I don't think it increases or decreases the amount of randomness. I think in something like a Eurogame, where Eurogames are quite controlled and quite prescribed, in many ways the other players' actions might be quite easy to divine, simply because the play can be quite prescribed in Eurogames. And if you're playing in good faith, you tend to do things. The game design is incentivizing you to do certain things. That's the reason the points are there, is because you're being incentivized to do certain things, to gain points to win the game. I think there are games that encourage players to do many different things, to surprise the other player. Multiplayer solitaire, players aren't surprising the other players, they're doing their own thing. And so to answer the question, I don't think it increases randomness. I don't think it decreases randomness. I think it is the design of the game, essentially. But there are some designs where the designer says, okay, a large part of the randomness that I'm going to employ in this game is going to be the opposition player. And I think that's really interesting. I think Eurogamers in general have a greater expectation of result control. Absolutely. I think Eurogamers use the term swingy as a term of abuse, and I don't think it necessarily is. Some games are delightfully swingy, but I think Eurogames, if you've spent 3 turns planning to do something and just because of chance you don't get to do it, that's really frustrating. And I think Eurogames have this expectation that you're able, as far as possible, that you're wrestling against yourself as much as other players. So that's a thing, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to play another song. This is the live debut. Just going to make sure I'm in tune. This is the live debut of my song. Oh God, that's really out of tune. Welcome to the Ben Tunes His Guitar live stream. Come on. So this is a debut, and I'm still going to have to look at the lyrics. This is debut of a song I wrote, which is currently in the process of being recorded at the moment with an old friend of mine who's a record producer. So if you think it's awful, don't put it in the chat, because I am not very thick-skinned. You could just lie and say you think it's great. Although because I'm an idiot, I wrote the melody myself, and I've actually written it quite high, so I might not be able to hit the notes. It's good, isn't it?
Some time, know you can feel it. Baby, I'm mine, baby, I'm right. Know that you need
we go. I wrote that. I think it's quite good, though it is very high, and so it's very hard to sing. Because I'm a self thingy. Water. Tell you, it's not vodka, trust me. Jerry Shipper says, well, today was a tough day at work. Popping in here and finding out you're a songwriter and can sing is a pleasant surprise. Thank you, sounds good. Thank you very much. Jerry, means a lot. Do that. Do I do that? I don't know what that means. Okay, so, all right. Now, should we get on to a public rank? Give me a second, make sure I've got everything set up. This is a good one. This is a good one this week. Let's go. Wow, look at that. Look at those games on there. Isn't that exciting? There's one particular... I'm going to put the fan on. I'm sorry. It's not great for the noise, but I'm all sweaty now. All right, so let's rank. Sorry about that. The coldness. All right, so this is the tier list of this shelf. This is the 10th shelf, so let's have a look. So, first one is Death Angel, the card game. Now, I'm going to put this here in outstanding because there was this period in Fantasy Flight history where they had the license for Games Workshop's type board games. And this was like the golden age of Fantasy Flight, I think. You know, Chaos in the Old World. Everything was dials. Chaos in the Old World. Blood Bowl Team Manager, which would be higher than this. What's the StarCraft one? Forbidden Stars was a bit later, and Death Angel. Death Angel is a wonderful game. It is... When Corey Konetska's good, he's great in a very sort of Ameritrashy way. And this is a devilish co-op game where you're Space Marines trying to beat Gene Stealers and that. And it's a really clever little game in a little box that's a great co-op game. Really good. I need to play this. I need to get this to the table. It is really great and really hard. And I think co-op games should be brutally hard. That's my view. Artemis Project. I think Artemis Project's great. It's a really nice dice placement game. Now, I am sponsored by the publisher. But I think I can be honest. I think the Artemis Project's great. It's a really nicely designed game. It's not a great game. It's not a game that you would play and say, this is an absolute masterpiece. But it's really worth your time. I haven't played any of the expansions. I don't know if they make the game better. But if you know, pop it in the chat. Okay. Next one. Mega City Oceania. Now, I'm going to put it top end of great, I think. There was that brief period with Hub Games, and I think they made a few missteps with their games. Not design necessarily, but with packaging and promoting themselves. And Michael Fox designed this, Mega City Oceania, and it's kind of a mix between a Eurogame and a dexterity game, where you're building stuff and you have to push them in, but there's also scoring mechanisms. I think it's a really clever game. I think it's a really interesting game. It is a game that expressed, I think, what Hub wanted to do, which was to make really innovative stuff. And they succeeded for a couple of years, and then, you know, things didn't quite go right for them. But Mega City Oceania, if you get the chance to play this, I'd highly recommend it. It's super interesting. Is it a perfect game? No, but it's... I have to go back here. So it's not a great game. You literally put it in the great tier. Okay, I see what you mean. But when I say great, I mean great. So great has a couple of meanings, right? Great has a couple of meanings. There's the colloquial. It's like awesome, great. And then there's the great, as in Alexander the Great, not a great cook. Oh, hang on. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. Oceania is a better game than it got credit for. Yeah, I think with better marketing, I think the game would have done better. I think it's a good game. Okay, next one is from my close friend Tony Boydell, Ivor the Engine. I'm going to put Ivor the Engine here. Honestly, I haven't played it enough. I've played it twice, and I should get this out actually. Tony's games are great, and he hasn't published enough that I get to play them. And this is a beloved property in England, well, and Wales certainly, as it's Welsh. But yeah, I have to play it more. I must confess I'm a little ignorant. The reason I keep changing views is because I haven't got this one thing set up on the other one. I need to set that up. Televised says, don't get distracted from us dickheads in the chat. I was just kidding. I know. You can't distract me. I love the back and forth. Please, more. But I do need to change the name of that thingy. Alright, so the next one. The next one's interesting. Shamans. I'm going to put it in the fine category. Reason being is, so Cedric Chaboussi, really lovely guy. My second favourite ever game. My first ever favourite game was Blood Bowl Team Manager. My second favourite game was Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark really captured my attention, and I absolutely loved it. And I can turn the fan off now. And Cedric just didn't design many games after that. It took forever, and then Shamans came out, and this sort of was the start of Cedric. Sort of, I think Tifa 2 actually came out before Shamans, but designing these really interesting, weird games. And Shamans is a weird game. It's a trick-taking social deduction game, and and people at the time were saying it's great, and it's beautiful. I mean, that's undeniable. But I've tried with it, and I just can't. I'm not quite sure the experiment quite works. It's an admirable idea, but I'm not sure the experiment quite works. Fresco is going up here. It is an absolute masterpiece. What I love about this game, this is a lightweight Euro game. But it is one of those games that there are very few games that reliably make you feel better after playing them. If you're in a bad mood, play Fresco. It is so delightful. The mechanisms are so wonderful. I have all the expansions, all the little modules, and you can take them in and out. It is just absolutely fantastic, and I would highly recommend anybody play Fresco. Even if you're the heaviest of heavy Euro games, play Fresco. It is so great. I absolutely adore it. It's from that golden age of Eurogames, sort of late 2000s, early 2010s. It's brilliant. I highly recommend it. Power Grid, the card game. I'm going to put Power Grid, the card game, come on, at the higher end of great. I really enjoy this, and I play it when I want a meaty game. When I want a meaty game that doesn't take very long. It's a really nice distillation. I've only played the proper board game a couple of times, but this is a really nice distillation of the auction mechanic from the board game. And it's really fun, and it's really snappy. It has some weird quirks in the rules. I think Freedom Freezer's games often have weird sort of carbuncles that I think if he published games with other publishers, they would be developed out, I think. And sometimes that's a negative, and sometimes it's a great positive. Sometimes you don't want the rough edges developed out, because if they're developed out, the game sort of loses character. This is a really great one. I would highly recommend it. It's not expensive, and it's a short version of Power Grid that you can get in about an hour once you know how to play it. Through the Ages. This is going here. because it's crap. Of course, I'm joking. That was an incredible joke. Through the Ages is, I think, and I don't mean this just because it's my favourite game, but I think Through the Ages is the greatest board game ever made. The more you get into games, the more you realise. When I first got into games, these things seemed magical. I don't know how people came up with the ideas. And the longer I've been involved with games and then interrogating them more deeply, the more I've realised how games get designed. I don't think I particularly have a talent for it, though I'm designing one at the moment. But you see the way games get designed and they're an iterative project and how they go from nothing to this great thing. Through the Ages still bamboozles me. It is a game of incredible elegance, depth, complexity. It is a game that is truly the product of an auteur. The voice of the artist comes through, and what is so wonderful is it's not in crappy little flavor text, finger wagging posturing. It is mechanical. The mechanisms in the game deliver the perspective of the world by the author. I think of all of the sort of big designers in the world, I think Vlaada Chvátil is the most natural designer. I think he's the one that thinks most ludologically. His games feel sort of natural in a way that other game designers don't. I think Through the Ages is a true work of art. I think Through the Ages tells us so much about human civilization, but also in a play of Through the Ages, it tells you about single human motivations and how. And the beautiful thing about Through the Ages, with the removal of the map, the beautiful thing about Through the Ages, there's two things. You remove the map and you put the military track off to the side. And what is so brilliant about that is that Vlaada Chvátil posits a world in which there is no war, in which war is an option, that it isn't intrinsic to who we are. And I'm not sure I agree with this, but isn't intrinsic to who we are as an animal. And if only we could resist the temptation of war, we could avoid it. And yet, every game goes there. Prompted by the designer, absolutely. But every game goes there and tells us a lot about what we are as a species. And it is just... And I'm writing... For the project I can't talk about, I'm writing a very in-depth piece on Through the Ages at the moment. So it's led me to think about the game even more. And I played it when I was in America. And it's just... It's perfect. It's inexplicably complex and yet so wonderfully playable. It can be long, but if you know what you're doing, it's compact and can be played in 3 hours. It tells a wonderful story. It is optimistic without being mawkish, but pessimistic without being nihilist. It tells us about who we are as singular individuals with agency in the world, but also as an animal. It dissects the nation state, it dissects religion and technology, and it is a very tech positive game. There isn't a better game that's ever been designed than Through the Ages. It is a true work of art that gets to stand up there with the Mona Lisa, The Godfather Part 2, The Rite of Spring. I adore this game, and if you've never played it, it takes a couple of plays, but there's nothing better. There's nothing better. Las Vegas Royale. I'm going to put this here. And if it was just bog standard Las Vegas, I would put it higher into outstanding. With the extra stuff, I don't think it's as good. Patchwork. This is for me. Oh, it's Kabuki Kid. He's saying hola all. Hello, Kabuki Kid. Patchwork, for me, is Uwe Rosenberg's second best design. Le Havre is a masterpiece. Better than this. Close to being Through the Ages, though not quite. No, actually, there's no comparison. But Patchwork is such a brilliantly efficient, perfect game. Plays in 20 minutes. It is a game that is incredibly simple to learn, but has massively deep gameplay that is tactical. It is unadorned and wonderful. I absolutely love it. QE. I'm going to put QE here. I'm sure people would rate QE higher than that. I've got, actually, if you want, I can show you, in fact. Give me a second. So I have the Gavin Birnbaum Essen edition that was because Gavin goes to Essen every year and he makes these games in his woodshed. I need to play this again. I might take this to game night on Thursday, actually. But you get the super cool wooden board. And the components are awful, but the board is great. And this is number 48 that I have. Very excited. I wish I loved this more. People really love this. This is Gavin's most successful game, I think. I need to play it more. I've never quite had the amazing experience. And I love sort of auction games and things. But I've never quite had the experience that other people have had. It's going back on the shelf. Next one. Papa Paolo. This is by Quinid. It's fine. I'm going to put it above Shaman's, I think. It's fine. It's a very average Euro game. Quinid are a really interesting publisher because they either publish really good games or they publish bog standard Euros that are completely forgettable, and this is Papa Paolo. It's all right. If I'd designed it, I'd be quite proud, but it's not great. And finally, so Small World is going in the masterpiece category, and I'm going to put it there, I think. Small World. So Tony Bosca says, oh, I keep hitting the wrong one. A cool game, but High Society is better. That's absolutely, he's talking about QE. That's absolutely true. Small World was one of those formative games for me. I remember getting it and playing it and just thinking, this is brilliant. I love the deterministic combat. I love the idea of civilizations going into decline and new ones rising up and, you know, leaving. I haven't played the original one, which is boring, so I don't care. But really love Small World. It's very engaging, plays super quick. I love it. It's an absolute masterpiece. Jerry Shipper says, I need to try Fresco and Small World. It seems you absolutely do, Jerry. They're both delightful. Small World's more attacky, of course. Fresco's just pure delight as you communally paint the Sistine Chapel. But both great games, both excellent, and I highly recommend you try both of them, Jerry. All right, so I guess it's gone 10 o'clock, so I can't play any more music. But that's it for this week. I'm sort of easing my way back into streaming, and I thought this was okay. There was the sound of the fan halfway through, but it's unpleasantly warm in here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can join the Discord, 5G4D.com. You can join the Patreon, Patreon.com/5G4D. You can get loads of bonus material. And if anyone here is subscribed, you can tell people what it's like, if it's any good. And yeah, I guess I will stream again next week. Maybe, probably not, but maybe next week I might be able to reveal the super cool project I'm doing. I hope it doesn't fail. But if it does, it does. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you crazy kidlers next week.